Welcome to the Perimenopause Diet Plan. My name is Laura Berger, and I am so excited to be helping you in this next phase of your life. There are so many women that are feeling lost, feeling like they don't have control of their health or their body anymore, and you're not getting the answers that you need. And we've specifically created this program and made it our mission to help you feel like the most confident, vibrant, healthy version of yourself and realize that I don't have to be held back by hormones and hormone fluctuations. There are things that I can do to actually feel better, lose weight, even in this next phase of life. So let's dive in. Amazing things are happening inside the perimenopause diet because we are not just another diet where we're getting pounds off or tricking your body into losing weight, but we're actually targeting why you're gaining weight and why you have these hormonal related symptoms. And we're completely transforming your body from the inside out. And women are realizing I have the power to influence how I feel. And that feels really good. We don't have to feel like we're the victim to bad lab reports or to hormonal shifts. We can actually take the right steps to do something about it. And I'm so excited to share this information with you today because after this presentation, you're going to really understand what is happening inside your body, why the things you've been doing before have not been working for you, and then what are the exact steps that we need to take to actually start rebalancing your body, repairing your metabolism, helping you lose weight and feel better even in this next phase of your life. So let's dive into this information and get going. So maybe this is you. Maybe you've gained weight even though you've changed nothing. And I have a lot of women coming to me saying this, like, I know maybe I'm not doing everything that I could, but I didn't change anything. And suddenly in the last year, I gained 12, 15, 20 pounds. Last couple of years, I gained 30 pounds. And it just feels like your body's just packing on the weight. And you're like, is it stress? Is it hormones? Like, what's going on? Because in addition to the weight gain, I also just don't feel well. I'm noticing I'm not thinking as clearly. I'm not sleeping as well. My energy is not as good. And like, I need to be performing at this level. And I am like struggling to keep up with my life. And we don't want to slow down. We don't want to feel that way. And we don't just want to have to rely on getting put on more medications to fix the problem. And once you understand what's actually driving it, we can fix it naturally. So you've gained this weight. You've always probably identified as a healthy person or valued your health. That's why you're here. And you kind of feel like it's slipping away. So all the things that you used to do, we all used to, okay, let me just increase my steps. Let me add in some cardio. Let me clean up my food choices, cut back on some things that I know what I need to do. But now it's not working. And the reason is because most of us, what we learned related to nutrition is really just rooted in diet culture. And I'll talk about that more in a second. But a lot of the tips and tricks that you read are not really targeted for where you're at right now when you are entering into perimenopause. So perimenopause are hormonal shifts that begin to happen. Really for women, it can start as early as age 35, and that's not uncommon to start having these fluctuations. And then they get more and more profound as you get into your 40s and late 40s and even your 50s, depending on when you start menopause. For a lot of women, this perimenopause phase lasts almost 10 years. So sometimes these symptoms are happening and you don't even realize that that's what it is. But what we want to do is adapt our diet and exercise and lifestyle choices with an understanding of what's actually going on in our body so that we're offsetting a lot of those effects and we're not feeling those hormonal shifts so dramatically. So you're someone who probably doesn't want to be on a lot of medications. When you go to the doctor, a lot of times they're prescribing birth control or more anxiety medications or weight loss medications for women who are having these issues, but that's not the solution to what's going on in your body. And through the perimenopause diet, we're targeting the anxiety, we're targeting the weight gain, and we're helping you feel better than you ever have in your entire life. Well, maybe not in your entire life. We're never going to be 25 again, but we can feel like ourselves again. And that's the most important thing. So you're probably gaining fat in your central region. That's what most women are noticing. Man, I'm really putting on belly fat specifically. And that's really frustrating because that is very challenging to lose if you're not doing it in the right way. Just calorie counting, restricting is not going to cut it. Brain fog, anxiety, mood swings, irritability, poor sleep, low energy is probably one of the biggest ones that you feel. It's like I'm maybe not sleeping well at night, but then I'm also waking up and I'm really exhausted. I'm struggling to make it through the day. Cravings are becoming more intense. Maybe you're noticing energy crashes in the afternoon and you're craving snacks and things to kind of keep you going, caffeine. bloating, a lot of gastrointestinal issues start to develop, or having reflux, gas and bloating. And it's like, what is going on in my body? I've had women tell me, like, they go to their doctor, they're like, I think I'm like dying or something. Like, please run some labs. Like, what is happening to me? And usually you just kind of get told that it's because of aging, or just a blanket statement like it's because of hormones. But can't just keep blaming hormones without understanding what's driving hormone function. And it's not just hormones that are the problem, it's the fact that your hormones aren't being supported in the right way. And no one's really teaching you that until now, hence the perimenopause diet. And that is the information that's going to change your life. So I'm going to kind of walk you through what most women are experiencing as they're coming into this phase of life. So you probably started gaining weight. You've made a decision. You're like, I need to do something about this. Like, I want to feel better. And a lot of women are saying, yeah, I want to lose weight, but just need to the weight gain to stop, first of all. And I just want to feel good. Like, those are number 1 and 2 priorities. And then if I lose weight, that would be great too. But part of what has to happen is we have to restore your belief in the fact that you can actually lose weight, because many of you have tried a lot of things. So typically step 1 is, I'm going to try to lose weight doing things that are popular diet culture, or maybe worked for me in the past. A lot of women are like, oh, I went back to Weight Watchers because that used to work for me, or I just tried to eat clean or clean up my diet. A lot of women are trying intermittent fasting because that's been popular, or just eating healthier. Like, I know what healthy foods are. Why isn't this working? Maybe you're just increasing protein. Maybe you've tried some of the tracking apps, or tracking your calories, tracking your macros. And one of 2 things happens in this scenario. One, it works for a while, and maybe you do lose a little weight and maybe feel a little bit better, but maybe it feels unsustainable to you. Like, okay, I did around a Whole30, felt good, but it was very unsustainable. I did keto, but it was unsustainable. Okay, so these again are just more like short-term fixes. It's not setting you up for success long-term. Second thing, which is happening more and more commonly in perimenopause, is you're doing those things and they're just not really working, or it's working extremely slow. I had one woman who went through our program, and she'd done a full 3 months of another like medical based program, and she didn't lose a single pound. And then when she did the perimenopause diet, she lost 12 pounds, right? So it's like, very frustrating when you're in this cycle. It's like, I'm not seeing the results. So then what happens? You usually go talk to your doctor. You have your annual appointment, or you make an appointment because you're like, something is going on and I might need some additional help. So usually ask for labs to be run, or ask for hormonal labs and say, like, what's going on in my body? And they might run them and say, okay, maybe this is a little off. Your cholesterol is a little slightly elevated, or, maybe one of your vitamin levels, if they run something like vitamin D, is a little bit low. You get a supplement, go on your way. Or, okay, if you're feeling out of balance, take this birth control, or we need to up your anxiety meds. These are typically the solutions, or just general advice. Like, I had one woman say her doctor told her to just eat more leafy greens, right? Just these general nutrition recommendations. And just a side note, this is nothing against doctors. They are not trained at all in nutrition. They take one very basic nutrition course in their med training, and that is it. So women are going to their doctor asking for help with weight loss, and honestly, they are not trained in that setting. So that's why you're usually hitting a brick wall, unless your doctor has taken some additional training and is really savvy in that. And there are really good ones out there, but hopefully they're referring out and realizing their limitations on their expertise in that area. So this is where women might be considering some medications, or weight loss medication, if you feel like that's the next step for you. Maybe even considering, like, I need to see a functional medicine doctor because something is wrong with my hormones. And we're kind of trained to look for these labels and reasons why I'm having these symptoms. But really what's happening is your body's entering perimenopause and you have not made the right shifts to support yourself during that time. It's pretty much as simple as that. And yes, you might have some hormones that are a little bit off, and we're going to talk about that in a second. But even if they're off, it's usually because your body's not being supported. Maybe your stress is too high, you're lacking vitamin minerals, you have inflammation. There's all these other factors that can help rebalance them naturally. So then at that point, you either try another method, or maybe you just give up because you feel like weight loss isn't in the cards for you. Or you might even consider like a more extreme method, like a fasting liquid diet or a weight loss medication, because you feel like that's your only option and you kind of feel like you're at a dead end. But the problem with those, again, we're not targeting the root cause of why you gain the weight in the first place. We're not rebuilding your body. We're not fixing your metabolism. And when you lose weight in a rapid and extreme way, you are losing almost 30 to 40% of that weight as lean muscle mass. So when you see you lost 10 pounds, a good chunk of that is coming, 3, 4, maybe 5 pounds of that is lean muscle. And that's the worst possible thing you can do when you're in perimenopause and into menopause is lose your lean muscle mass, because that is what's controlling your metabolism. That's what's helping regulate your hormones. And that's part of how we're going to heal your body. So then you get stuck in a phase of regaining that weight and you never truly get out of this diet cycle. So what we want to do is break free from this and start adopting a method that when you're gaining the weight and you want to feel better, you go straight to the perimenopause diet and you know exactly then how to care for your body, and you're going to be set up for success for the next, really the rest of your life, because it's only going to get more challenging as you get into menopause, and you want to go in with the healthiest, strongest, most balanced body possible so that the hormone fluctuations are just like this instead of like this. You're not feeling those symptoms as dramatically when your body is fighting a lot of things. So my husband Andy and I have created this program after working with women for many, many years. I've been doing private nutrition counseling as a registered and licensed dietitian for over 14 years at this point. Andy has been working with women in a one-on-one personal training session and in our group training program for 22 years. I think he's been training. He's extremely knowledgeable about exactly what your body needs to transform. And then I'm there with the nutrition piece, and we bring that together to give you exactly what you need. Because for many years, we'd see women come to Andy who are like, I want to lose weight, and they're doing the strength training, they're doing the exercise, they're committed to the fitness, but their nutrition was never on point. So they were getting stronger, but they were never really losing the weight that they wanted to lose. And on the flip side, I'd have women come to me, I want to heal my body, I want to balance my hormones, I want to lose weight, and they would implement my methods and they would feel so much better, they would lose weight, but I knew they were not maintaining their lean mass. So it was very hard for them to keep losing weight. They kind of hit those plateaus. And after, a couple of years, they usually would end up gaining it back because they didn't adopt the strength training piece. So what we've done is we've combined what we know your body needs to be healthy in this next phase of life. This is what the scientific research is saying. This is what your body needs to support you. And we're targeting it in a way of understanding, well, what hormonal changes are happening in your body? What effect does that have? And then why is that leading to weight gain? And we can target that and fix it so that now your body can lose weight and you can feel better. So we've helped hundreds of women, and we've had hundreds of women go through our programs. Usually at the point, kind of what we say for our program is you come to us when it's like, I've tried all the things, I can't lose weight no matter what. And it's like, this is my last effort. Like, I don't know what else I can try because nothing is working. And then you come here and it works for you. So the perimenopause diet has two main components. There's the Fit from Home workout program, which is your perimenopause solution for weight loss with workouts, and then the core nutrition method. So those are both housed inside the perimenopause diet. And I'm going to talk to you about both of those and what those are. But I want to reframe the word diet. And I like using this term because you can identify very clearly that it's a nutrition plan, but I don't like using it because the connotation with diet is often quick fix. But I want to actually define what the term diet actually means. It means how a species eats. So the perimenopause diet is how women in perimenopause should be eating. Simple as that. All women, not for a quick fix, but to set you up for long-term success. Our goal is to create for you something very sustainable and realistic that works in your lifestyle, that takes down the anxiety of healthy eating. We're not overcomplicating. We're not making you track a bunch of crazy food or make insane meals that you don't have time to make. Like, part of what is at the heart of the perimenopause diet is also reducing stress. And the last thing you need is your diet creating more stress. We want it to be as simple and attainable for you as possible. And I think that's the number one feedback that we get. It's like, this just feels really easy. This just feels like normal. This just feels like part of my life. It's very sustainable. And that is our goal for you, that we just make you a well-oiled machine in how to care for your body. So instead of saying the terms, I want to shift your mindset around my hormones are the problem. So instead of saying, I hear a lot of women saying this, it's because of perimenopause that I'm struggling to lose weight right now. It's because of my hormones that I'm struggling to lose weight right now. I want to shift it back to you, that you actually have the power. Because when we say it's because of X, it's because of my thyroid, it's because of my autoimmune disease, it's because I have, I had PCOS in my history or endometriosis, or I have these things and we hide behind these labels. It's because of this that I can't lose weight. Two, I actually have the power to support my hormones during this hormonal shift in perimenopause and to minimize the effects of those hormones so that I can feel healthy and lose weight. The issue is not your hormones. The issue is that you have not had the right information at this point. And yes, it makes it more challenging. Yes, you have to be more aware of how things are affecting your body. That is our reality that we just have to accept. We don't want to just play the victim card. We want to play the empowerment card of, okay, this is my reality. I don't want to feel this way and I don't want to be gaining weight, so I'm going to do something about it. And I'm going to take my health into my own hands. So I want to empower you in that way, that we're not just going to hide behind hormones as the reason. And yes, I want to say this with a grain of salt. There obviously are situations where, you clearly have hormone imbalance. You might need additional support. But we always want to go to building a solid foundation first and realizing that you still have a lot of power to feel better. Okay. So perimenopause is only partially why you're having these symptoms. When you make the right shifts in your diet and lifestyle that goes beyond just eating healthy and exercising more, you're going to realize that your symptoms that you've been experiencing are minimized dramatically and possibly go away entirely. Okay, which is pretty cool to know that we have that kind of power. Okay, so the first thing I want to go over is, where the heck did this weight gain come from? And with this, we can probably just lump in here and symptoms, right? All these symptoms that I mentioned, the brain fog, the increased anxiety, the inability to handle stress and just feeling kind of burnt out all the time, low energy, poor sleep, thinning hair, gut disturbances, acid reflux, all these things that are kind of coming out of nowhere for you. Where did all this stuff come from? So I want to talk about some of the natural effects of hormone fluctuations and as your body slowly starts dropping estrogen. So in perimenopause, it's really more about hormonal fluctuations rather than like in menopause. It's like, okay, we can measure and define that your numbers are below a certain amount, and we know that you're menopause, you haven't had a menstrual cycle in at least a year. That's kind of defining menopause. Perimenopause is more challenging. It's more based on symptoms and it's more based on how you're describing what you're going through. So I want to explain to you though what's leading up to that and what's making your symptoms worse, because everything that I'm going to mention here, there's four main components. That is what our intervention is targeting. We're offsetting the unnatural effects of these hormonal shifts. So if you just sit around and do nothing, expect to gain weight, expect to not feel very good, expect to feel like you're going crazy. But there's something we can do about it. So number one is going to be loss of lean muscle mass. So as you age, this is for everybody, men and women, after the age of 30, we start naturally losing lean muscle mass. So this is like your bicep muscle, muscles all over your body, your skeletal muscle. As you get into perimenopause and start having those fluctuations and drops in estrogen, and especially women getting even closer to actual menopause, you are more rapidly losing lean muscle mass than you were even when you were in your early 30s. Okay. Combine that with the fact that most women are not strength training or not doing it in a way that's truly building lean muscle. Just using some weights or doing body weight stuff or Pilates and things isn't necessarily enough to completely offset the loss of lean muscle. And then a lot of us also, the third kicker is having children. Okay, so when you have babies, even if you're exercising during pregnancy, you lose a lot of strength. You're usually not able to exercise at the same intensity. Your body is undergoing a lot of change. And then you have this recovery period postpartum. You lose a lot of muscle mass. So the more children you have, the more hits your body takes. And you probably notice that if you've had children, in the way that your body has changed from a muscular standpoint. And after you have kids, even if your weight gets back to where it was, you're like, my body's just not feeling the same way that it was before. It looks and feels differently, even if my weight hasn't changed dramatically. Okay. And then what most women do not realize is that loss of lean muscle mass, the natural losses, the losses after pregnancy, and then also getting into perimenopause is one of the first things that you don't even realize is leading you up to weight gain in the next couple years after you have these drops. Okay. When you lose lean muscle, that is responsible for regulating your metabolism. So when you feel like my metabolism is sluggish or I'm not burning as much energy, I have to eat so little to lose weight, it's because you've lost one of your most valuable resources to regulate your metabolism. So at rest, lean skeletal muscle just burns more energy. It takes more energy to keep it alive than it does fat mass. So when you have more lean muscle, you're just naturally burning more calories at rest. Okay. But one of the big mistakes that women make is doing a lot of what we would classify as maybe yo-yo dieting or quick fixes, where it's like, I need to lose a quick 5 pounds or quick 10 pounds. And you do a restrictive state and you eat less, or maybe you've lost 70 pounds in your history and then you gained a lot of it back. You lose a lot of weight and gain it back. Every time you do that, think of all the times you've done that in your life, maybe starting when you were younger. You lose weight, you gain it back. You lose lean mass, you lose fat every time you lose weight. But then when you gain the weight back, you don't gain back much lean mass. You gain back mostly fat. So imagine doing that multiple times throughout your life. Your body composition is not what it should be at this point. And that dramatically affects your ability to regulate your metabolic self healthfully. So that's setting you up for basically hormonal failure. Like you're not going into perimenopause with a strong, healthy body. So from an intervention standpoint, what do we need to do? We need to get your lean mass back. This is one of the most important things that you can do for yourself. But I'm going to move on. Just strength training is not enough. And we'll talk about what is required for strength training, but just doing that is not going to be enough. You have to do the nutrition component combined with the strength training. So one of the things that happens as you start dropping estrogen, it changes where your body stores fat. So you might have noticed like I'm storing more central belly fat would be the non-technical term. The technical term would be visceral fat. There's two different types of fat. Visceral fat is the fat that is stored around your central organs mostly. So I have a photo here. You can see the visceral fat in this central region versus what is known as subcutaneous fat. Subcutaneous fat is the fat like on the outside. Okay, this is easier to lose than that visceral fat. So even if you're like, I'm losing weight, can't get rid of the belly fat, right? Can't lose inches in my stomach. That is because that fat is more hormonally influenced. You can have elevations in cortisol, drops in estrogen are driving more central fat gain, and then high insulin. And we'll talk more about insulin, but insulin is the hormone that is released after you consume carbohydrates, sugar, breads, pastas, any fruit, vegetables, anything that has carbohydrate is going to release some amount of insulin. So again, from an intervention standpoint, we can control our insulin levels with our diet. Okay. And when we do that, we can start burning that visceral fat. But if you have constantly elevated insulin because of stress and because of your diet, it's not just about eating less or eating less calories or eating healthier carbs. It's about eating them in the correct way that's going to allow your body to actually start burning fat, because high insulin or even elevated insulin is a fat storage hormone. It is keeping your body stuck in fat storage. So it doesn't matter if you're calorie counting or cutting back or counting macros or increasing protein or eating clean, whatever you want to classify it, it's not balancing hormones. And when you have high insulin, it's going to lead to more inflammation and it's going to lead to keeping you stuck in that fat storage mode, especially in that central region. So what do? We're going to work on reducing insulin so that you can actually start burning fat. So when you have those declines in estrogen, this is going to disrupt your body's ability to effectively process sugar. So most women in perimenopause are developing some level of what is known as insulin resistance, especially if your cortisol stress levels are elevated. That combination is keeping you stuck in that fat storage and making weight loss very difficult. That's why a lot of women might try keto or something and they're like, oh, I lost weight from that, but you're dropping a lot of lean mass. You're usually doing it in a way that's not super healthy and you're not sustainable. It's not sustainable. And I don't recommend doing that because you can lose weight without these extreme methods. With the perimenopause diet, you'll know how to do it. Okay. What are some of the other reasons that women are gaining weight? So the other one I mentioned is going to be your cortisol levels. So when you have elevated stress, that is going to also kind of lead to that insulin resistant state in your body. So part of our program also incorporates calming down your nervous system, stress reducing techniques, exercise to help balance your mental wellness and support your total body wellness. But also when you have high cortisol levels, Again, drops in estrogen can affect how your body functions in terms of stress. So it can make you less resilient to stress, which is why you're feeling more anxious and stressed out, partially. And insulin imbalances also lead to more anxiety. But when you have high cortisol and high inflammation, that can lead to lower levels of testosterone and progesterone. So if you go get your hormone labs checked and you find that those are low, again, we like to say, oh, that's the reason I don't feel good. And that is part of it. Your hormones are out of balance at that point. But also realizing part of the reason they're out of balance isn't just random. It's because these other hormones are pumping. Inflammation is pumping, cortisol's pumping, insulin's pumping. Okay, your body can't balance itself correctly. So guess what? It shunts it to those other areas instead of your progesterone and testosterone production. And then that makes you have some of these symptoms that you would describe as hormonal. Okay. The last one is inflammation, and this is usually dietary driven. It can also be from those high cortisol levels, from elevated insulin. It's just going to create this pro-inflammatory state in your body. When you have more of that central visceral fat, that is an inflammatory type of fat. So when you have this inflamed feeling in your body, you're like, oh, I just don't feel good, I feel inflamed, that is going to make it harder to lose weight as well. Okay. So when you have inflammation in your diet, that's going to inflame your body too. And so a lot of the healthy foods that are out there are not necessarily supporting a strong, healthy body. They might just look good in terms of calories and macros, low calorie, high protein, something like that. But if it's still not optimal nutrition, we want to think beyond just calories and macros. We want to understand how food's affecting your body. Then it's going to keep you in that inflamed state. When you have more inflammation, you can also develop something called leptin resistance. Leptin is another hormone. So again, there's lots of hormones involved here that are not your typical just estrogens, progesterones, and testosterones. These other hormones are all impacting what you would classify as hormonal symptoms. But leptin signals your fullness and signals it's like your hunger and fullness cues. And so when you have elevated inflammation, you can develop leptin resistance. You're resistant to that hormone. And then you don't have a good sense of when I'm hungry and full. And you can then end up eating more calories. Okay. And a lot of women are suppressing how much they're eating throughout the day and then binging in the afternoon or eating a big dinner and then eating more after dinner because your hunger cues are all off and you're not nourishing yourself properly through the day. Okay. So asking the question, are my hormones to blame? To some extent, yes, but only because we're not doing the right things to set our body up for success. You always want to try to correct our baseline health, lower inflammation, increase lean muscle mass, lower insulin, and lower cortisol levels to give our body the best possible chance. So I want to just highlight once more the power of muscle mass and how this can help correct a lot of the things that you are dealing with. Because one of the things that lean muscle mass does is help regulate blood sugar better. And that's one of the reasons you feel more anxious. You're not sleeping as well. You don't have as good of energy. You're having cravings is because your blood sugar is not balanced through the day. Your body's struggling to regulate that because of these drops in estrogen and loss in lean tissue. More muscle means increased insulin sensitivity. It means your body is more sensitive to that hormone, meaning instead of your blood sugar being higher and your body struggling to regulate that, it's going to suck it into your muscles and your muscles actually going to use it for its own purposes. So it's going to help actually heal your body. So we don't just want to say go exercise and do anything. Of course, any type of movement is good, but specifically strength building activity where you're placing progressive overload strength on your muscle and breaking it down and rebuilding it. And you're constantly doing that. Okay. So when you have a lack of lean tissue, this is one of the things that's setting you up for failure in perimenopause, but we can get that back, which is amazing. You can completely transform your body. And there's something really beautiful about just feeling strong, right? A lot of times as women, we're just kind of shunted into the cardio realm, but being strong and capable in your body is something that you don't want to lose. So our perspective from a fitness standpoint is not just checking the box for a workout, but really investing in that strong, healthy body. So our Fit from Home program, which is part of the perimenopause diet, this is the perimenopause way, full body strength training 3 times a week where we're overloading our muscles. So Andy is brilliant at program design, and he just specifically designs 3 brand new workouts every single week that are hitting our body in different ways and progressing us so that our body's constantly forced to put down new lean mass, put down new bone. One of the big concerns for women in perimenopause and into menopause is loss of bone. And you've probably known people that have broken hips and had osteoporosis and osteopenia. And that is because you have not fought for your bone mass either. Okay. So we need to be strength training. And that's one of the only things, especially as women, that you can do is weight bearing activity to maintain your bone mass as you age and as you get into perimenopause and menopause. So I love these pictures because this is kind of showing you from a scientific standpoint and hormonally what is actually happening. So again, the term hormones gets thrown around a lot. There's many different hormones and they're affected by many different things. So if you feel like you are out of balance with your hormones, there's probably something else driving it. Yes, fluctuations are natural, but we can offset them if other things are not out of balance. So over here where it says cortisol steal, you can see that at the top corner, all of your hormones, including your stress hormones, a lot of your adrenal hormones, and then also what we would classify as your sex hormones like estrogens, testosterones, progesterones, they all start with the same molecule, which is called pregnenolone and cholesterol to pregnenolone. So it's like basically like I have this bank and whoever needs the money is going to get it first. So if your stress hormones are just pumping all the time, and you aren't incorporating the right diet and lifestyle practices to manage that, because your diet has a big impact on your stress response. Don't just think, just taking a cortisol supplement is going to make that go away. Your diet dramatically impacts that, but also incorporating some lifestyle techniques to balance your cortisol naturally. Okay. If you're giving it all to cortisol, guess what happens? Your adrenal hormones can't function as well, your DHEA, things like that are going to affect like your sex drive and your energy levels and your ability to handle stress. Your progesterone is going to be low. So we'll see that on lab tests a lot. And we see this also again with insulin resistance. We'll see low progesterone and low testosterone. And then look at the downstream effects of that. You're going to have testosterone and estradiol, which is your active estrogens. Those are all going to be lower than they should be. Okay. And then some women will say, well, I have high estrogen. Well, high estrogen oftentimes happens. It's not necessarily that your estrogen is super high. It might just be high in relation to the other ones because they are low. Your testosterone and progesterone are low. So that makes it elevated relative to your other hormones. So ultimately, what we want to do is balance our body as best as we can by lowering insulin, lowering the stress response, so that now we're freeing up this bank of money that we can actually produce our own progesterones and testosterones and estrogens. This does not happen overnight, right? Especially if you're like a higher stress person or if you have a lot of imbalances that need corrected, but just making you aware that, you don't have to just be a victim to these fluctuations. There's a lot of intervention that we can do, and we want to try to do it with a full diet and lifestyle approach. Okay. The last picture over here, I'm talking about inflammation. So this one's more like stress and insulin resistance could be thrown in there, but chronic inflammation versus chronic inflammation, all I want you to look at is the downstream effect of that, which is hormonal dysfunction. So when you have a lot of inflammation, and for some women, this is coming from certain foods that you're eating. And this is one of the things I like to look at. And that's part of our diet program, is getting rid of anything that could potentially be influencing inflammation in your body. So a lot of the processed foods, sugar, for some women, it's like wheat or dairy, or if you have other food intolerances, that might be driving it. But that's going to, again, lower your testosterone, lower your estrogen. So again, we like to blame low estrogen on our symptoms, but a lot of it's lower than it should be or would be because of this chronic inflammation. And then it also increases a hormone called myostatin, and that inhibits muscle growth. So when that's high, it's inhibiting your ability to grow muscle. So you're working out, but you're in this high inflamed, high stress state, you're not gaining any muscle, okay? You're not seeing changes in your body. So when we do all of these things together correctly, we're doing the right diet plan, we're doing the right exercise plan, we're doing the right lifestyle actions, we're nourishing and hydrating our body correctly, we're reducing stress naturally, we're regulating our cortisol levels naturally, and then we start seeing changes in our body. We start feeling stronger, we start losing weight, and our body starts feeling more balanced again. And it's actually shocking how quickly women feel better after implementing the perimenopause diet. I mean, within a week, they're like, I'm already feeling more energized. I already feel lighter. I already feel more balanced. I already feel better. It doesn't mean you're dropping 20 pounds in a week, but you're already noticing that you feel different. A lot of the things that you've lived with and you felt like just, oh, I can't get past this because of hormones can be taken care of very quickly when you start doing the right things, which is so cool and so empowering. So, going back to the question, why am I gaining weight and how am I going to fix it? Just remembering that what's not in our control, just the fluctuations and drops in estrogen and progesterone that are natural, okay? And we can't really control that. But we can control how much they're dropping and the things that are in our control that affect those, your loss of lean muscle mass, we can gain that with the right strength training program. Insulin resistance, we can heal that by getting stress levels down, by eating in a correct way to heal your body. We can work on reducing our stress and naturally regulating cortisol. We can reduce inflammation with a diet strategy and by getting insulin down. And we can increase our vitamin mineral status, which is extremely important in regulating your hormones. Okay. And once you do those things, those fluctuations become less dramatic and you start feeling better, which is amazing. Okay, so there's a lot that we can do to minimize those shifts. One little thing I want to mention, because I get a lot of questions about this, do I need to get my labs checked before we start the perimenopause diet or before I take this on? As a medical practitioner, I think labs are great. I love having baseline labs. It's helpful for me, especially if I'm looking at recommending like good quality supplements. You know, do we need iron support? Do we need B12? Are we low in vitamin D? Now, those are not the reason you feel the way you feel, but they definitely can contribute. I think having those hard numbers can be helpful. However, I just want to say this with a caveat because a lot of women ask for labs, again, looking for a diagnosis, a reason. Oh, good, my B12's low. That must be why I feel this way. So I'm going to take this supplement and all my problems are going to go away. Or waiting, oh, I want to see that my hormones are out of balance and or my thyroid is out of balance because I feel so terrible and good. Then there's a solution, there's a medication for that. But understanding that if these are off, it's because of all the reasons that we just talked about. It's because you've lost lean mass. It's because you have inflammation. It's because your insulin's off. It's because you're not nourishing your body properly. Because your stress response is requiring so much energy that it's depleting you in other areas. It's throwing off other things in your body. So I think this is extremely helpful, but only as a baseline to then intend and go and do a lifestyle intervention. So when you get this information, it's more like, okay, this is my baseline, and then let's do our perimenopause diet intervention, and then let's see where we are after we've lost weight, after we feel better, after we are noticing changes in our body. So these are just great baseline labs. These are the ones that I recommend. If you can get all of these run, amazing. Not all doctors will run them, but these are all available just as general lab tests. There are more in-depth tests you can do, but again, a lot of women are going to like functional medicine doctors, for example, and I'm a functional medicine dietitian. I have nothing against functional medicine doctors. They do amazing work. I work with them. However, a lot of them are like going and explaining these symptoms and they're like, okay, well, we need to run this hormone test and we need to run this gut test and we need to run this metabolics test. And you get run through this gamut of hundreds and hundreds of dollars of testing when really you're in perimenopause and you need the right diet and lifestyle approach, because then their only solution for you is supplements. And supplements are not a solution. They help. I use supplements. You can have my supplement recommendations. I give those to you guys, but they are not the end all solution unless you've actually made the real shifts that your body needs to be healthy. So just understand that labs are part of our intervention plan, but they are not the end all of what is actually going on in your body, and really want to make sure that you're still on board with the right intervention plan. And then we can retest and make more adjustments if needed. Okay. So just a quick recap. Why I don't have energy, why I can't lose weight, why I feel like I'm losing my freaking mind, okay? Lots of things happening in your body, but usually it comes down to things like low vitamin and mineral intake. So we've been taught with nutrition that nutrition is weight loss, nutrition is restriction, nutrition is calorie counting or counting things or eating less. and trying to get pounds off, right? But what we want to actually do is shift our body composition. We want to lose fat, not just pounds, and we want to gain lean muscle mass. But when we are trying to eat less or eat healthy, a lot of times we end up actually not getting enough vitamins and minerals. So when you are in perimenopause, you actually have an increased need for certain vitamins and minerals, things like magnesium, all the B vitamins, especially B12 and B6, iron, calcium, vitamin D. Especially if you have elevated stress, those are going to be depleted even faster. And that's why you might notice some of those levels being lower, and why you then don't feel well, because your body needs vitamins and minerals to function. That's how every metabolic pathway in our body functions, is nutrients, vitamins and minerals. So when you have deficiencies, that causes a big problem and your body cannot function well hormonally. So sometimes the way people feel is actually just rooted in nutrient deficiencies. And when we clean up the diet and get you eating the right foods, that's going to change for you. Next is blood sugar instability, insulin resistance. This is why you're having cravings. You don't know you're developing this. I hear this a lot from women, but my labs are normal. My glucose is fine. My hemoglobin A1C is normal. But you can have elevated insulin or even some insulin resistance, and it's not going to really show up on those lab tests. You can get your insulin tested, which I had on that last list, your fasting insulin, but understanding that that's a natural thing that happens if you've lost lean mass, and if you're in perimenopause and you have gained a bunch of weight, you probably have developed some insulin resistance. Because just gaining fat, if you've gained any amount of weight outside your healthy body weight, you've gained 10, 20, 30, 40 plus pounds, you have insulin resistance, because fat mass creates an insulin resistant state in the body. We know that. It creates a pro-inflammatory insulin resistant state. So it makes it harder for you to lose weight, and it's going to make it harder for you to regulate your blood sugar. So that's part of our intervention. If you're not eating your meals correctly or patterning your meals correctly, so it doesn't just mean eat X calories per day, eat X grams of protein per day. It's about how you're balancing each meal, and it's about how you're balancing your day. It's super important for blood sugar regulation and to make sure you're getting the right foods in. Body composition. So a lot of women are not eating enough protein. Even if you're trying to eat more protein, you might not be eating enough protein. And you might not be doing it in a way that's combined with a strength training program. And when we do those in tandem, you're going to transform your body. And that's when you actually start seeing changes. So it's pretty fun when we have women come in who were already exercising and they're like, well, I'm already exercising, I'm already working out. We're like, okay, but now you're going to do our perimenopause workouts and you're going to see a difference. And within a couple of weeks, they're like, okay, I'm feeling stronger. Okay, my back's not hurting anymore. Okay, like I'm noticing changes in my body, because we're doing it in the right combination, and you're doing a workout plan that's transforming your body in the correct way. And that's when you really start to see progress. And then the last one, as we discussed, is inflammation. So we want to tackle all of these as we're looking at healing your body. So the perimenopause diet is the hope for you that you're not doomed just because of hormones. Now, it doesn't mean that all your problems are going to go away because you do this. However, you're going to notice massive changes in how you feel, and you're going to start to feel empowered. I'm reteaching you everything that you thought you knew about nutrition and diet and how to lose weight, because the game has changed, but no one gave you the playbook until now. Okay, so we're giving you the new playbook on how to care for your body. So throw the old one away, get rid of the Weight Watchers and the restriction. I spent a lot of years of my life. I used to have a lot of hormone imbalance actually when I was younger, even before I had children. And I spent a lot of years like seeking the right information and like, why can't I just eat healthy? I don't want to always be fighting the scale. I don't want to feel like I have to always live in this restricted state and I'm out of balance with my diet. I just want to be healthy. And what does that mean? That means we're eating in a way that's supporting what our body actually needs to function well, not just what we think it needs to lose pounds. And when you make that mental shift, everything starts to change. We start becoming an actual healthy person and not just a dieter. And that's what we really try to help you transform into, so that you can just live your life and you know how to care for your body. And that takes away the anxiety of, oh, what's the scale going to say today? And your weight just normalizes, it stabilizes. You become healthy and you feel good. Okay. So the number one purpose of the perimenopause diet is to correct what I call your baseline health. So we are giving your body the best chance going into perimenopause. We're losing fat. We're opening up your body's ability to lose fat, right? By getting those insulin levels down. We are increasing lean muscle mass. So we're shifting body composition. And sometimes the scale does not reflect that right away. And you might lose some weight and then you're like, oh, I feel like I'm plateauing. But this is one of the things that we talk about in our program. Shifting body composition is different than losing pounds, because you can lose like there's been studies on this. Women will lose like 10 pounds of fat. They gain like 9 pounds of lean mass. So it looks like they only lost like a pound, but they've lost tons of inches. Why? Why are their clothes fitting better? Why do they feel better? Because their body comp has shifted. And that's what we try to focus on. So that's one of the main things that we're focusing on, is doing it in the way though that we're doing the right workouts with the right eating pattern. We're going to lower insulin, we're going to balance your blood sugar, and that's going to take away a lot of the symptoms that you're calling hormonal. They're actually related to insulin, okay? Which is cool. We can fix that pretty quickly. You're going to feel better, you're going to have less brain fog, you're going to have better sleep, more energy, no energy crashes, better mood. A lot of mood instability and irritability is related to blood sugar imbalance. We don't even know that, but it is. And when you learn how to eat properly, you're like, oh, okay, I'm feeling better with my kids. I'm not as snappy. I'm not as irritable. I know how to fuel myself properly. We're going to correct the vitamins and minerals too that also help correct some of those symptoms that you would describe as hormonal. We're going to reduce inflammation, help lower stress, support your gut health. And all these things are going to help improve digestive function, because that is extremely important for like hormone processing, and you do have gut changes that happen as a result of estrogen fluctuations. But again, it doesn't mean you have to deal with the reflux and the bloating. That can go away pretty quickly. And then we want to increase protein, fiber, anti-inflammatory foods, and then making sure we're increasing overall nutrient status in our body. But we're going to do it in a way that is not just throwing a bunch of recommendations at you. And that's the biggest mistake I see. Women are scouring the internet, like, what foods do I need to add in? Oh, this is a power food. Oh, I need to eat more salmon. Oh, I got to add in more spinach. Oh, I got to eat more greens. Oh, I got to eat more salads. I got to add this in. That's not a plan. That's a bunch of tips and tricks, and that's why you're getting absolutely nowhere. When we bring all this stuff together, I'm just showing you the methodology behind it, but when we bring it all together, it's going to be very action oriented. It's like, we've taken care of what you need to do. You just need to follow what we tell you, and it's going to feel so much easier than you trying to figure it out on your own. From a workout standpoint, why are our Fit from Home workouts the perimenopause way? Just on a personal note, Andy and I started doing this program. We created this program back in 2020, really by accident because of COVID. And we started following it ourselves. So the program is 3 times a week, but the way he writes the program is it is everything that you need in those 3 workouts. And when we actually started following it, we realized that that was the missing key that we needed to maintain our own weight. And especially me, I was like, having kids and having some hormone fluctuations and like what's happening with my body. When we started implementing this for the first time in years and years and years, I wasn't fighting the scale. I wasn't seeing those fluctuations. I was seeing positive changes in my body. My clothes were fitting differently. I was like easily putting on jeans that used to be tight to put on. And all I'd really done was added in these workouts and added in the right diet shifts to really support the exercise I was doing. And I felt better than I ever have. And now I feel confident as I move into this next phase of life with the strong body composition that I have. It's not, these hormone shifts are not affecting me in the way that they would have previously. The term that I like to use is you have to fight for your lean mass. So everything I explained earlier with the drops in estrogen and just aging in general doesn't mean you're going to not have lean mass, but you won't if you don't fight for it. You have to do the strength training, and just doing, light weights or using the same 5-pound dumbbells that you've used for the last 10 years, or just doing occasional random YouTube videos is not what your body needs. You need an actual program. A lot of times we like to pick what feels good, what sounds good, what video do I feel like doing. You need to start choosing stuff based on what you need. So with our program, all you have to do is show up. You know that you're getting exactly what you need. We're incorporating also things that are going to keep your body healthy, because as we age, it's not just about pounding and getting a workout. It's about caring for our body so we're not getting injured, because one of the biggest setbacks is when you get injured after starting a program and then you can't work out for 6 weeks, right? And then you're defeated and it's hard to get back into the routine. So we're also caring for your body in a way where we're preventing injury, rehabbing injuries, rebuilding your core, getting out of pain, but then helping you build a strong, confident body that's going to help you metabolically as well. Every workout is going to be different. And that's important because your body is extremely adaptable. One of the biggest mistakes people make is doing the same things over and over again, doing just what's enjoyable, but you're not actually progressing because your body starts adapting to that style of workout. That's why we want to progressively overload strength with strength or rep number, and then also changing the styles, and that keeps your body guessing and progressing, and that's what we want. So one of the quotes I put over here that we just had from one of our perimenopause diet members is, "I'm working out less, but I'm in better shape." So she was doing lots of workouts almost every single day before our program. Now that she's following our Fit from Home workouts, she's like, "I'm doing less, but I know it's exactly what I need, and I'm in better shape, and I'm losing weight." Crazy, right? Work out less, get better results. Okay, so we're going to work on shifting body composition, and this is a huge component. We don't just want you working out. We don't just want you focusing on nutrition. A lot of people come in and they think what they're doing with workouts is fine, but this is beyond just getting a workout in. This is a very intentional program designed specifically for women in this phase of life to build strong, confident, healthy bodies and to repair your metabolism. So when you come into this program, I'm going to go over the different ways that we start you, but we don't just throw you into workouts that are too challenging for you, but we're helping you start where you're at so you can really gain strength in an appropriate, healthy, safe way. The next thing I want to go over is about the perimenopause diet specifically and the core framework that this operates under. And this is really how we bring together the action-oriented portion and bringing together everything that your body needs to be strong, confident, and healthy and to be able to lose weight. So lasting weight loss is going to incorporate all 4 components of the core method. Core stands for consistency, optimizing food choice, ratios, which is your calories and macros, and then eating balanced meals and meal patterning. So every week during the perimenopause diet, during the 4 weeks, we focus on a different component of the core method, and I bring in as much as I can to set you up for success. The last kind of scientific thing I'm going to share with you is about your insulin system, because this is a big component of our perimenopause diet plan and also the workout plan, because the intention with building lean mass is to help also correct insulin resistance. So when you eat, this is talking about independent of calories. I put 100 calories of cookies or 100 calories of broccoli. Okay, intuitively we know that we know that broccoli is a better choice, right, than cookies. However, if you're just tracking, they're both 100 calories of mostly carb. Okay, so they're going to, in a macro sense, they're going to kind of track the same. However, when you eat 100 calories of cookies, it is processed, high sugar flour. It's rapidly digesting. It's going to cause a rapid rise in your blood sugar, which is that big arrow going up. And then the red line represents the insulin hormone. So insulin is dose dependent. The more glucose in your blood, the more insulin you have to release. When you have insulin resistance, your body actually has to then release even more insulin to get your blood sugar back into normal range. This rapid rise in blood sugar leads to usually a rapid crash, anywhere from 30 minutes to 2 hours after you eat. If you feel like real tired or irritable or low energy or like you need another snack, that's usually why. It can lead to more anxiety and irritability as well, because it's a blood sugar issue. It's not just a hormone issue. It's an insulin issue. But these crashes lead to things like the brain fog as well and more sugar cravings. So a lot of people are like, I love sugar, I'm addicted to carbs. You're not actually. It's the fact that your body's out of balance, that you're craving those things. And once we stabilize that, those cravings usually start to go away to some extent. So on the flip side, when we have 100 calories of something like broccoli, which is also a carbohydrate, however, it's loaded with fiber, it's in a whole food form, it's going to fill you up. You can eat a lot more of it for 100 calories. 100 calories of broccoli is a huge plate of broccoli. You're not going to be hungry after that. You get a very gradual rise in your blood sugar because it's digested slowly, and especially when we eat it in the context of also including protein, it's digested slowly, slow rise in your blood sugar. Slow rise equals slow fall. Rapid rise, rapid fall. Okay, we want to get out of these blood sugar fluctuations. That's what's leading to affecting your sleep at night. It affects your stress levels. It affects your mood, anxiety, all those things. We work on stabilizing blood sugar. So instead of like this all day, you're going like this in a nice even pattern. And that's what's going to help you immediately start to feel better and start to be able to lose weight. Hopefully you are feeling empowered and ready to go and correct your symptoms naturally and start losing the weight. And I want to introduce you to the Perimenopause Diet Program. This is a 30-day, less bloat, more energy, feel like yourself again program where you are going to get the right information to help you naturally manage your symptoms and correct what's going on in your body so that you are being set up for success. This is not information that you're going to get from your doctor or read on a Google search online. We have specifically put this together so that you are targeting exactly why you're gaining weight, exactly why you don't feel well, and feeling better than you have in many, many years. So we're going to be getting to the root cause of what's going on in your body, and we're going to rebuild a strong, healthy, vibrant body from the inside out. From the inside out. So this is not just a quick fix diet or 30 days and then go back to what I was doing. This is your kickstart to the rest of your life, which is pretty cool when you think about it. Like, I'm actually going to learn what I've been searching for to feel better and to lose weight. This is going to teach that to you, and you're going to have empowerment to move forward. So this program is for you if you've been gaining weight, especially if you notice it in that central region, or maybe you've struggled a lot of years to lose weight and you've always felt like you've had some hormonal imbalance. You have no idea why this is happening. Why am I gaining weight? Why can't I lose weight? And maybe you haven't even changed your habits, but you're noticing the weight is coming on. And you're like, I could be doing better, but for all the things I am doing, I should be seeing some movement on the scale. Okay. Your belly fat won't budge no matter how clean you eat, no matter how much exercise you're doing. Maybe you've even intentionally taken steps to exercise more, to walk more. Maybe you're dabbling in strength training. Maybe you are really intentionally trying to clean up your diet and you're still not seeing changes. Okay. Maybe you've already talked to your doctor and asking what's going on with my body and you're not really getting anywhere with that. You want to look and feel like a healthy person. You do not want to feel like your health is slipping away or that your body is slipping away. And you don't want to do it with medications. You don't want to be on the anxiety meds. You don't want to take birth control. You don't want to have to take Ozempic or another weight loss medication. You know that your body can do it. You just haven't found the right plan yet. And that's exactly what this is going to be for you. Maybe you've been told that your labs are normal or mostly normal and they really haven't offered you any help, but you're still having a lot of symptoms that you are concluding must be hormonal because it's on sudden onset, poor sleep, low energy, brain fog, weight gain, mood swings, okay? And you want a natural, sustainable solution. You believe in your body. You want your body to be strong and healthy, and you want to perform. You want to be there for your family. You want to be there for your job, for all the demands that you have in your life. You just want to feel like yourself again. If that is you, then this is the right fit for you moving forward, because we are going to completely transform the way that you think about losing weight and caring for your body, because it's not just about a number on the scale like we've been trained to think. It's about your composition and what's going on the inside. So if you value your health and you want to become the most healthy, strong, confident person that you can be, you're done with the quick fixes, you don't want to do another round of this diet or that diet, you want to make this shift for life, and you're willing to do that, you just haven't found the right info, you want to eat well, you want to care for your body, then this is the right program for you. So the perimenopause diet has two main components that work together very beautifully. So the fitness component is going to help you build strength and confidence in your body. It's going to help you shift your body composition in a very intentional way. We're not just checking a box with workouts. We are shifting composition. We're giving you exactly what you need to start seeing changes and feeling stronger. These are follow along workouts. So we're actually doing the workouts with you. And I'll talk more about that program, but we have pre-recorded workouts. We also stream live workouts depending on what your fitness level is and what you want to start with. But you're going to also get expert coaching. I think this is something so unique about our program. It's not just us working out with a bunch of music in the background and you watching us exercise. You're actually getting coaching from Andy. He has, like I said, 22 years of experience working one-on-one with women. He knows exactly the mistakes that you're making with form, the exact problems that you're having, like with pain and or the things that you're doing incorrectly, what muscles you should be activating, and he's coaching you constantly so that you're constantly creating that muscle mind connection and seeing the best results possible. For the nutrition, we are taking the guesswork out of your diet. I'm not just giving you a list of foods to eat and not to eat. I'm not just giving you a bunch of recipes to follow that you're never actually going to make long term. I'm teaching the exact framework that you need to fuel your body, get the right foods, get the right balance. Everything that I mentioned, lowering inflammation, lowering insulin, optimizing nutrients, I'm incorporating that in a very easy to implement way so that you don't have to piece it together on your own. You have a very clear plan. I worked with a lot of people. I've looked at a lot of diets. The number one thing that's missing is a clear plan that is not just based in recipes, but it's something that is actually just teaching you how to eat. Okay, how to eat for your body. So I'm going to walk you through that core method of nutrition. It's going to give you exactly what you need so that you're like, oh, this is actually easy and I can do this and I'm going to feel good for the rest of my life. So our approach is really like nothing that you've tried before. It's rooted in science. We're not just telling you what we personally are doing, although we do follow a lot of our own principles, but we're doing it from a scientific standpoint, and we know what works because we've been working with individuals in real settings for a very long time and know what works in this phase of life for you. So we're really excited to bring you on as partners in this program. Just a little bit more about this 30-day program. This is a self-guided program, but we are going to give you all the resources that you need along the way. So every week you're going to get part of the perimenopause playbook. So you're going to have a new video to watch where I'm walking you through that core method. I'm giving you the foundation of what you need, not just foods to eat, but when to eat, how to eat, what to eat, why we're eating that way, how it's impacting your body, other factors that need to be considered to support the stress response. I'm talking about things like alcohol. We're going to talk about hydration. We're going to talk about how to get inflammation down, how to really optimize gut health. Like these are things that we're going to touch on. Again, only being a 30-day program, we can't go into everything, but I'm giving you what I feel is most important for you to get immediate results. And results are not just numbers on the scale, but to immediately start shifting body composition, to start feeling better, to start realizing, okay, I can actually control my hormones a little bit. And bonus, I'm seeing the scale move. Okay, that's our goal in this program. You're going to get access to the perimenopause workout plan, which is our fit from home workouts. So these are follow along workouts. We have a membership portal. It's an online portal. These are home workouts with very basic equipment. We have equipment lists on there if there's anything you need to get, but it's mostly just light, medium, heavy dumbbells. If you have a kettlebell you want to use, great. You can see some of our equipment here in the back. It's not very much that we use. Bands, maybe an exercise ball. Really, we give modifications for stuff even if you don't have everything, but we have a beginner series, and this is one of the things that's really amazing about our program is if you are like, I've never really strength trained, or it's been a really long time, or I don't feel confident in my body with training, you're going to start in the beginner series, and it's a progressive series. So workout one, you show up day one, do workout one. 2 days later, do workout two. A couple days later, do workout three. Just get those 3 workouts in a week. You can do them on your own time. They're on demand, which is amazing. And then we also have an extensive online library of workouts, but it is an actual program. So if you're at the more intermediate level, you'll go through that series. We have advanced workouts. We're putting 3 new workouts out a week, and that makes it really fun and exciting. And we have an amazing community of members in our Fit From Home program who are doing everything with you too. So you're not doing this alone. And then bonus communities. So you're going to be, we have our community Facebook page. You're going to be a part of that and feel like you're part of something bigger than just doing it on your own. You're not the only one struggling with this, and we're all in this together of this healthy people movement. You're going to get the balanced plate framework, an additional meal guide with this program. And again, I'm not just saying day one, eat this, make this recipe for breakfast, make this recipe for lunch, make this recipe for dinner. Again, nobody's got time for that. It's more about like giving you very solid, concrete examples of what your day can look like, and then you implementing it based on the framework and plugging and chugging based on your own food preferences, okay? And that's what's really amazing and helps you stick with it, that you're not just eating stuff that you don't like, but you're eating stuff that you actually enjoy and that work with your lifestyle and your family. And even, with your family, if you're eating dinner together and you have kids and you're concerned about that, it's like, no, you just follow the balanced plate, you make some adjustments to your portions and ratios, but for the most, maybe you add in a little extra vegetable for yourself, but for the most part, you can still participate in family meals and it doesn't feel like a big deal. Okay. And then with this program also, I have an online storefront for medical grade supplement recommendations. I just have put a couple on there that I think are helpful for women in perimenopause. If you want to get them, I think it's a great thing to add in. And you can take a look at what I recommend versus maybe something you're taking, or if you're not taking it. And there's also discounts for you on those supplements when you're part of that program. So this is not just another calorie counting and macro plan. A lot of programs have been renamed, but really it's just a macro plan, or it's just a calorie calorie counting plan with like a side of workouts. That's not what this is. I've created something very different where, yes, we look at calories and we look at macros, but in a different lens. We do it under the core method where we're looking at everything that your body needs to be healthy. So this is specifically designed for women in perimenopause because your body, your hormones, your metabolism are changing. And this generic advice for dieting is just not really cutting it anymore. So we're teaching you how to eat, how to exercise in a very sustainable, real way that works in your lifestyle inside the perimenopause diet. So this is a natural root cause approach to balancing your hormones, reducing inflammation, reducing insulin, and getting your body back in balance because we're targeting why you gain the weight in the first place. And we know from a scientific standpoint what's happening in your body, why you're gaining the weight, why you feel the way you feel. And so we've created interventions along each of those points, right? And when we do that, guess what? All those symptoms start going away, okay? Our workouts are not just random. It's not just things like what feels good today or just punishing your body or doing a ton of cardio. We're very intentional in the design. If you guys could see how much intention Andy puts behind each workout and the 3 workouts each week, how they all work together. So we're not overworking one muscle group. We're not neglecting the minor muscle groups. We're working, dip both sides of the body. We're balancing cardio with core, with strength training. All these things are incorporated without just overstressing your system. That's when you actually start seeing progress and change, okay? So this is pairing exactly what your body needs from a nutrition and a fitness standpoint so that you can lose weight and feel the healthiest you will ever feel in this phase of life. If you don't take these steps, it's only going to become more of a challenge for you as you get into true menopause in the next several years of your life. And we want you to start feeling better than you ever have. And this is the cool thing, is that you absolutely can, and this is possible for you. Even if you feel like you've done everything, even if you feel like you know everything and I know what to do, I'm just not doing it, or I've done everything, it's not working. There's probably things you're not doing that you need to take steps towards to care for your body in this phase of life. So just reading more books, piecing together tips and tricks, scouring the internet, implementing, what I read on Instagram or Facebook, like, oh, maybe I need to try that. Maybe I need to do this. Maybe I need to take this supplement. That's not what we want to do. We want to give you an exact plan. And when you have a plan, it means action and it's working together. We're not just piecing it together on our own, but it's all systematically working together, which takes a lot of stress and anxiety off you because you're not constantly like, what else can I do? It's not constantly on your mind. You have confidence that, okay, I'm doing this, I'm going to see results and I'm feeling better and I'm going to lose weight and I'm going to keep it off. That's the beauty of doing it, the nutrition and the perimenopause workouts together. When we rebuild your lean mass, you're not seeing those weight fluctuations anymore. You are actually losing weight and keeping it off. And that's one of the things that's going to help you from fighting that scale. So instead of wasting more time, wasting more money on methods that don't work, or thinking you need to go spend a bunch of money on extensive lab testing or medications or all these supplements, don't do that first. Before you do that, you need a real sustainable solution that's going to rebuild your body composition, correct why you gained the weight in the first place, and help you become a strong, healthy, confident person again. The results inside of our perimenopause program are absolutely incredible. And this is something that we want to share with you because we know it works. And even the most skeptical women who sign up and they're like, I really don't think this is going to work for me. They come into our world and they see results and they're absolutely blown away that all the wasted years and energy on things that did not work for them. And then here they are, they come to this and they're finally starting to see results. It's super exciting and very rewarding for us because this is what we're here for. We want you to be successful and we want you to get the right information that really nobody is giving you. And you are someone who values your health, and so you should be entitled to this kind of information, and that's why we created this program. So we have the solution that you've been looking for. So if you are a yes for this 30-day perimenopause diet experience, we want you to join us. You will be receiving emails. You should have gotten an email when you downloaded this masterclass. And then also you'll receive an email over the next couple days, giving you an opportunity to ask questions if you have them. You can send us a message, but also just sign up for the program. Once you sign up, you'll get instant access to the nutrition content and you can start your day 1 of the 30 days right away and activate your fitness membership as well. So you'll get access to the perimenopause diet program. You'll get weekly messages from us. You'll start transforming your body and feeling better immediately. So look for those details coming to your inbox. We cannot wait to support you. We're so glad you found us, and we cannot wait to see you inside the perimenopause diet 30-day program. We'll see you soon.